Hello and welcome inside the War Room alongside Chris Shroyer. I'm Srikar Rajendran. No Sam with us today. We apologize on his behalf. He's actually at the Colts-Ravens preseason game right now, so he's having the time of his life. But we're here in the War Room, man. We're here. And we got some breaking news. I know you see the title of the video. We're going to be doing our predictions for this upcoming UFC Apex event, Dolidze versus Hernandez. But first off, right off the top, some breaking news. The main event for UFC Fight Night, Rio de Janeiro. Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. 5 rounds, lightweight main event. You already know it's good. What a fight, Chris. What a fight. I mean, Fiziev versus Oliveira, like just on the feet alone, this is such an interesting fight to me. And how the Muay Thai is going to compare with what Oliveira and his manic ways of walking forward on the feet will be. And also Fiziev, really hard to take down and also to keep down, you know? So I really don't know who wins this. And another big factor, obviously, is Oliveira making a 105-day turnaround coming off UFC 317, where he got brutally knocked out by Ilia Topuria, now returning in October to face Fiziev. Chris, what are your thoughts, man?
Dude, this is going to be a banger. I'm really excited. And just like you said, an 105-day turnaround from a brutal lights out knockout. He was stiff as a board. It was really sad to see. And we kind of just saw what happened to someone who really tried to have a quick turnaround like that, Nikita Krylov. He just got his lights out by Bogdan Guskov after getting knocked out 3 months ago by Dominic Reyes. And, you know, one thing that Oliveira and Krylov share in common is they are grizzled vets. They are up there in age. So that is something to definitely look out for. I hope that Charles, can get it done. I love Charles. Do Bronx, man. He needs to get back to the top. But Fiziev is a tough competitor to, make a bounce back against. Very technical, has basically cinder blocks for hands. And we saw it against Gaethje. He has improved takedown defense, which, Charles is not shooting takedowns like a wrestler, but in the grappling department, he definitely has the advantage. Oliveira does. So Fiziev will want to keep him away. I think it'll be a great fight, but Charles does not back down from anyone. You know for a fact he was going to fight on that Rio de Janeiro card, regardless of what happened to him against Topuria. So I think it'll be a great fight. And Fiziev in his last fight, he had a great bounce back win against Ignacio Bahamondes, which was very nice to see after losing to Justin Gaethje for the second time. But dude, I'm excited. Srikar,
yeah.
You want to make an early pick right now or no?
Yeah, I like what you brought up with the psychology of fighters, and especially, as you mentioned, the grizzled vets like, a Nikita Krylov, who I picked Bogdan Guskov to knock him out in the first round because of the layoff. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was the sole reason. And I'm kind of getting the same vibes out of Oliveira and Fiziev. Like, I think Fiziev is such a tough guy to just turn around and face, especially after being, put out stiff for the first time. Maybe not the first time in your career, but the first time in recent memory that you've been really just put out cold. And now you come back on end of June he fought. So July, August, September. Yeah, basically a 3-4 month turnaround. He's already going to be in camp. Like,
right.
I really don't know. And props to Charles, because he really pushed to fight on the Rio card. And I get it. Like, I totally understand that. I thought MSG was where he'd be, facing someone, potentially Dan Hooker. Awesome. If Max was able to fight this year, I think he would have fought Max at MSG. But, Rio it is. And it's the first time he's been on a fight night since he fought Kevin Lee in 2020. So it's been a long time coming. This is not a pay-per-view Charles Oliveira right now. But he could have been on pay-per-view. He could have been on one of the biggest cards of the year. But I think a main event in Rio is still really good for him. But it's also a great opportunity for Fiziev, and that's where I lean ever so slightly, man. I lean towards Rafael Fiziev getting it done. And again, I'm just going to use my reasoning from the Nikita Krylov Bogdan Guskov fight and just say that Oliveira is coming back too early. He's fighting a guy that's extremely skilled on the feet, technically excellent. I can go on and on about Rafael Fiziev, but we got some predictions to get to. But I think that's my early lean, man. I think my early lean is Fiziev. That it's just wrong place, wrong time for Charles. But maybe with that home crowd boost. I know you mentioned guys who got knocked out by Topuria, win their next fight. So that trend is still very much in play.
It's
I
still
like the
going.
trend.
It's still going.
If you like the trends, there's one for you. But
I love the trends. You know me, Srikar. I'm a big trend guy.
yeah, and overall though, it's a great fight. I want to talk about this though, because the card has yet to be filled out, and honestly, for this is already shaping up to be a banger of a fight night just off the main event alone.
Right.
And I mean, the UFC clearly sees the potential here. Like it's in Brazil. Like the talent pool in Brazil is just crazy. Honestly, I was thinking co-main event. We have UFC 319 next week, which stay tuned for content regarding that event. We'll have our predictions up. Maybe we'll do a midweek. We'll see.
Below.
But Carlos Prates is fighting Jeff Neal, and Prates has been vocal. He wants to get through Jeff Neal and then jump right back in for his homecoming in Rio. I mean, if he handles business, and he is the favorite to do so, then honestly, I would set up Carlos Prates versus maybe like a Joaquin Buckley as your co-main event. Like, I feel like that would be the perfect next step. Like two rising contenders, both of them gunning for a spot in that top 5, both of them explosive. Like, I really think it sells itself. Like, I think that is your co-main event, and hopefully Prates gets it done against Neal. It makes the matchmaking so much easier.
Definitely, and Srikar and I have had off-camera conversations with Sam as well about, these specific fight nights in specific locations like Rio, Paris, Perth, when Perth isn't a pay-per-view, London when it's not a pay-per-view. The UFC kind of treats these as their unofficial pay-per-views, so these will be loaded, and they always are loaded, filled with hometown favorites. Obviously, it's always nice for a crowd to get behind a hometown guy. It just makes it so much more energetic and electric. Just really quick, back to the Charles fight. You said wrong place, wrong time. I would say it's a wrong time, right place, because Charles Oliveira in Brazil, woo, there could be some crazy things going on there. But yes, I think that Carlos Prates, if he can take care of Jeff Neal handily, which in my opinion, Jeff Neal is no slouch though. He's a tough fighter to come across. And he does have hands of steel. He lives up to his name, but Prates is a great striker as well. If he can get through him easily, I think putting him in the co-main event on that Brazil card, that'll do numbers for a fight night. So I'm really excited to see it, but it's cool to see UFC stacking these pay-per-view or like I said, unofficial pay-per-views in these certain countries, huge MMA countries, just trying to grow the sport more than it's already been growing. So it'll be really fun to see. I want to see how this card looks. I'm excited.
Yeah. And we look at that month of October, you got UFC 320, which, I mean, everything up until the featured bout has already been laid out, stack card. You got the Brazil Fight Night, which is already looking good. And then you got UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi, which is obviously going to be stacked. So
insane.
It's really good. It's really good. I'm a fan of this fight. I'm a big Fiziev fan. He's one of my favorite fighters in the sport. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to root against Oliveira once again.
No,
Oliveira is the fan favorite. I love the fight though. I think it's a good matchup, and I can't wait to watch it happen. But what we're going to be watching this Saturday is a collection of fights that I guess you could say represents the Apex very well. We got to note this Saturday could be the last Apex show that the UFC puts on, because there's no scheduled events in the Apex for the rest of the year. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to schedule anything, because the end of the year is still pretty open, but as of right now, we are just getting fight nights in different locations. So people who don't like the Apex, just bear with us one more week, and then we're on to fight nights in Paris, in Shanghai, in San Antonio, all these different places.
Qatar later in the year too.
Qatar is getting a fight night as well. Brazil, we just talked about. So if this is the last Apex card, Chris, real quick, what's your favorite memory from the Apex?
Oh, can it be like an Apex-esque moment? Because I mean, I consider COVID technically the Apex, even though they did it in Abu Dhabi, like Fight Island, Yas Island. Does that count?
I think for all intents and purposes, no.
Okay, if we're doing that, then Chris Duncan, Mateusz Rebecki, this past weekend, that was honestly one of the craziest fights I've ever seen in terms of damage and just pure grit. That was awesome to me. Or if I'm going based off a knockout.
Well, I was thinking, I mean, you were a fan when Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker fought in the Apex.
Was that the Apex or Yas Island? I'm kind of blanking.
I think that was Apex.
Okay, if that was the Apex, I thought that was Yaz Island, so I was refraining from that. That was going to be my initial pick. That's why I asked that question.
Okay.
So my whole thing with the Apex, just a quick little thing, and we'll get into our predictions for maybe the last Apex card ever. I love the Apex because you can hear everything. You can hear the coaches instructing their fighters. You can hear every little thud and, clash of the pads, the legs, the arms. I just feel like it makes it so much better, and it really, gets into the niche and intricacies of fighting. It's almost like watching a hockey match and hearing the slap shots or the puck hitting the boards. It just makes you feel like you're actually in the arena, and that's why I kind of gravitated towards the Apex. But yes, all right, I'm gonna double check if I think that was in the Apex, and if that fight was in the Apex, which I'm looking right now. That is my favorite fight of all time. That is one of the best fights. Just the build up to it. Dan Hooker calling out Dustin Poirier saying, "I'm going to smash your face in." And Dustin Poirier eating so many shots, coming back and just giving it to him. That was awesome. And then a close second is Rebecca versus Duncan. That was bloody hell, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, 100%. I honestly think this past card, because I haven't been a fan for as long as Chris has in all transparency, I think last week's card might be my favorite Apex card of all time. Like, I haven't seen anything better with my own two eyes. So I think that would have to be my favorite moment. I guess Rebecca Duncan, I'd agree. I think more so getting Rebovich Brenner and Rebecca Duncan back to back.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Was the moment in itself, I think was the best for me. But the Apex, I agree, gave off that intimate vibe. And, there's something about that won't be replicated. I think the Apex, honestly, is the epitome of every hardcore fan and what they look for when you think of the word violence, when you think of the word and you think of blood on someone's face. I think of the Apex. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think of the Apex because a lot of the time, as you said, you hear those punches a lot better. You get that clarity. You hear the corners. You hear everything in a more intimate setting. And that's what I truly appreciated about the Apex. Now, I'm not mad at all that they're moving out of it. Right. I'm more of a guy who is in love with the crowds that are overseas and the atmosphere that brings. But not to say that the Apex was bad. Like, obviously, it didn't give you the best cards like on paper. But when is MMA ever on paper? Like, on paper is not a thing.
100%. That is a great line, Srikar. There's nothing more true.
Yeah. So you can't really get mad. And when you get, this is what we said last week too. I don't care if the card isn't good on paper. It's good on paper because it's going to deliver. We all knew it was going to deliver. And it did.
We told you so. And
then there was no discussion of what was good on paper after. There's no concept of on paper in MMA. Maybe you look at a fight and be like, okay, on paper, this guy should win. That makes a little more sense than claiming a whole event is going to be bad on paper or good on paper. And that's one of my biggest gripes with MMA, but that's another time. Another place I can go further into that, maybe on the midweek. But
Hooker versus Poirier was also in the Apex. So that was during the time of COVID. So I forgot where it was, but regardless, intimacy. And that's what I think it was the best part about it.
But let's get into this batch of fights. Obviously, the main event, Roman Dolidze and Anthony Hernandez going at it. If you want to skip straight to that one, go ahead. We'll have timestamps in the description. But if you want to come along for the full ride, we are going to celebrate the Apex with the first fight of the night, Cody Brundage and Eric McConico.
Sorry, the way you said that was funny.
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I kind of forgot this fight was even happening on this card, and that's kind of on me. I'm gonna pick Cody Brundage by knockout. I guess I'll pick Cody Brundage by knockout or decision. Eric McConico, my last memory of him, I should say, not my lasting one, was him getting absolutely starched by Nursultan Ruzabov. And that was back on the Seattle card. Yeah, Cody Brundage has been here, done that. I looked at his Tapology. I don't know if you noticed. It's literally a rainbow because he has a win, a loss, a draw, a no contest. And I think it's those. And it literally makes up the Tapology rainbow.
That is crazy. That's crazy work, Srikar.
And just for that alone, give me Cody Brundage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. I guess he's the rainbow man. He's wearing purple shorts too, so he's trying to touch every color on the rainbow. But Yeah, I mean, his last fight got ruled a majority draw after, or not majority draw. It was ruled a draw, right? Or no contest, excuse me, against Abdul Malik because of an inadvertent knee that he took while he was down. So he lost that fight, but got bailed out by the Georgia State Athletic Commission. Yeah, like you said, Srikar, my one impression of McConico, outside of the UFC, he did great. He got absolutely slept by Nursultan. Nursultan's a tough guy, though. Don't get me wrong. He's very good, and he's going to be climbing the top. He's fighting Brian Battle next week, which will be a great fight. Great fight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think Cody Brundage, he's a dirty boxer. He has good movement. He's good at counters. I think he'll get to Eric McConico, and I think he'll put his lights out. I think it'll be early too. I'm gonna say round 2 knockout on the earlier side of round 2.
Interesting. So we're both in lockstep here, but the odds actually suggest this may be closer because they have Brundage at -175. I think McConico's +130. So I'm not really sure. I mean, this
McConico was a very big reach. 5-3.
He does have the reach advantage, and we haven't really gotten a full accounting of McConico yet. Like, I think that's the big unknown here. We don't really know.
Yeah, look, he's landing not even a strike per minute. So
yeah, I mean, he's been in the UFC for one fight, and he got starched. So it's unfortunate, but we're both going Brundage to open up the card. Moving right along, we've got Gabriella Fernandes versus Julija Stoliarenko. Chris. Yes. Would you like to start here?
Sure. I mean, solid fight. I'm a big fan of Gabriella Fernandes. She's coming off a huge upset submission win over Wang Kong, who I actually have very high regards for. And that was in Macau. Speaking about, fight nights expanding into different places, Macau fight night card was pretty solid. But she got a rear naked choke in the second round, and she's had pretty solid victories. One over Carly Judice, who we just saw a TKO victory from her in New Orleans on UFC 318. But Stoliarenko's been around the block. She recently suffered a TKO loss to Luana Carolina in February of last year. So she really has kind of been on the mend. She's 11-9-2, excuse me. So not too much coming out of her. I just think that Fernandes, with everything she's done, she's very sharp striker. She has solid takedown defense, and Stoliarenko is a good grappler. Don't get me wrong. But just in terms of the recent form that they're both in and what we've seen Gabriella Fernandes do recently, I believe Macau was this year. I think it was earlier this year. No, it was last year.
No, last year.
Last year.
Yeah,
later. Yeah, on the later half of last year. I'm going to take Gabriella Fernandes by submission. I do not think this is going the distance. I think she is the better grappler, and Stoliarenko has the veteran prowess to hang around. But I think Fernandes, she's on a good little streak, and she's going to add to it.
Yeah, Fernandes has power in her hands. She's low-key got submissions. She's looked decent. She obviously just beat Wang Kong as a huge underdog. Stoliarenko, I saw someone say she's the female Paul Craig. I agree, man.
Honestly, that's a great.
Yeah, because she only has the armbar. That's literally it. 4 regional wins via armbar, all under a minute. And she snapped Molly McCann's arm when she actually got to the UFC. But outside of that, her striking just super mid. She fades late. I think Fernandes keeps it standing and just pieces her up. I don't even think she has to go to the ground. So I'll go Gabriella Fernandes by decision. I like submission's a cool pick, but I just don't think it will even need to go down there. I think that's not going to be your game plan.
Look at this takedown accuracy. Oh my gosh.
What's it at? Wait, let me see this.
Terrible.
Yeah. Pretty bad. Not enough that it's going to be, something that thwarts the game plan at all. So both of us going Gabriella Fernandes, one by sub, one by decision.
Yes.
Moving right along. Uroš Medić versus Gilbert Urbina. Medić has a 100% finish rate. Nearly all of them in the first 2 rounds. He had a good start in the UFC. He got a knockout, but since then it's really been a bit of a roller coaster. He got submitted by Jalen Turner. He bounced back with knockouts, and then he got knocked out by Punahele Soriano.
Yes.
Urbina's had a rougher go. I mean, decent run on the regional scene. He came through Ultimate Fighter, got knocked out by Tresean Core on Ultimate Fighter, and then he got submitted by Brian Battle. And then in his UFC debut, he got a knockout, but then he was slept by Charles Radke. Medić, very much like a pressure kickboxer.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely fun to watch. Like, he's a clean striker, but he's very vulnerable. His defense is definitely questionable, and he gets into brawls that just don't favor his chin. And what I'll give Gilbert Urbina, he's tall, but he's also quite chinny. I think this is going to be fireworks, man. I think it really will. But honestly, I don't rate Gilbert Urbina that much. I'm going to go Uroš Medić by first round knockout. I think it'll end in the first round. Like, I think they're just going to go out swinging, and with both of their chins being in susceptible spots, they really could go either way. But I think with Uroš Medić's experience and the fact that, he's been tested in these brawls before, I guess, like, I'll go with Medić, first round knockout.
Yeah, you know what, Srikar? I actually very much agree. One thing that's crazy, though, is look at Urbina's height compared to Medić. There's a 4-inch discrepancy, but the reach, this dude has long arms. Oh my goodness. 75-inch reach for someone who's 5'9". Props to him. That's kind of crazy. I mean,
yeah,
he might look, if his career doesn't pan out in the UFC, I would say go to Power Slap, bro. That you could make some bread over there. But yeah, I mean, look, he has a crazy chin, but I think he uses it too much. He almost uses that as his defense mechanism. Let's go right over here to see how many. I mean, he absorbs just under or like under 5 strikes per minute, but still, that's a lot. He lands quite a bit too. However, yeah, you see this defense right here, 44%. I'm just not trusting him against, like you said, just a very steady kickboxer. And even though Urbina has a diverse skill set, I think Medić has the perfect skill set to counteract that. He's taller, a little bit lankier. And I don't think that Medić is going to outpace him, but I think he's going to control the pace of the fight. And that's where he's going to really win. He's going to put it on Urbina. He's going to smell blood in the water. And I think he's going to get it done. So we're in consensus, Uroš Medić by KO TKO.
Dang, Chris saw right through my tactics on text. I texted him that I was picking Urbina, and he's like, yeah, me too. I was trying to out mind game him, but it didn't work this time.
I mean, he could be a great value bet.
No, this is a good value bet. We're gonna go over a lot of value plays on this card. This is one of them.
So much. This might be a little bit of a chalky card for the viewers or just anyone who likes to bet, but that's where the methods come in and the round props and things like that. You got to look past just money lines, and everyone likes to lay big money on big, huge lines. So that's where you have to look in the nooks and crannies. That's what fighting's all about.
That's why we got Chris to give you that, and you got me that's honestly just going to give you straight underdogs to play.
Yes,
just because the value is that good.
Oh, 100%.
But we move up the card. This is not one where I'm picking an underdog. Joselyne Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Edwards, very kick-heavy striker. She's strong, mixes in the wrestling well. Coming off good wins over Tamires Vidal and Chelsea Chandler. Chris, actually, I want you to start this one because you have Joselyne Edwards, right?
Yes, I do. I have her by unanimous decision.
Okay.
Like you said, I mean, great consecutive victories over Tamires Vidal and Chelsea Chandler. She TKO'd Chelsea Chandler. She's been in the UFC since 2021. She's gone 6-4. And she lost back-to-back bouts during the tail end of last year, bounced right back with the 2 victories that I just said. And Priscilla Cachoeira, since 2018, she's 5-6 in the UFC. So she's really not doing anything too crazy. She was also on the wrong side of back-to-back fights, losing both of them. But her last fight, huge performance of the night statement against Joselyne Nunes, which I was very impressed with. So props to her. But in my opinion, I think that, look, Joselyne Edwards has also had some weight cut issues. She's missed weight in 3 of her last 4 wins, which is not a good sight at all. Kind of on the Nora Cornell train of, she wins when she misses weight. But at the same time, I think she still has the better advantage. She has a very significant advantage in reach, as you can see right here, 70 to 65. And I think that she does use a very effective jab, and she can stop a pressure fighter like Cachoeira, who, she just wants to get in. She wants to get hands on you. But Joselyne Edwards is very good at that. She uses a lot of leg kicks too, which I think, will also stop that pressure from coming towards you just by damaging the lower body. It kind of makes it hard to grapple when you want to use your legs as your base, especially when, they feel like jelly after a few leg kicks. She also has good ground game. Top control and pressure are, always her strong suit. But I just think that her overall skill set and her ability to mix everything in and everything together, hopefully she can get the weight under control. Obviously, we're recording this before all the weigh-ins tomorrow. We're recording this on Thursday. Even if she does miss weight, I love my trends. The trend is saying she's going to win. So regardless, I think she has the better overall skill set for her. I think we're seeing 2 fighters trending in different directions, even though Cachoeira got that knockout. Like I said, I think Joselyne Edwards is going to take this one by unanimous decision.
Yeah, Cachoeira, she's got one-shot knockout power, but really just not much else. And she's also known for kind of being a dirty fighter at times, with the eye pokes and stuff like that. So if Edwards fights smart, uses the grappling, uses the kicks, I think she should win this one comfortably. I'm going to go Joselyne Edwards by decision. But we move up the card.
Look how many strikes she absorbs per minute. Oh my goodness. 7.15.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That is the highest.
That is screaming an Edwards decision win.
in 11 UFC fights, she's absorbing that many strikes per minute. I'm surprised she's still standing. Props to Priscilla. Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is actually a crazy number now.
Right?
It's kind of wild. We move up the card. Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. Smith's he's got the raw tools, man. Like, yes. you can see the potential with Elijah Smith, but he's still green, man. He has a lot to iron out. Kazama is also raw, but he's dangerous, man, especially early. Yeah, his chin's been cracked before, but I'm not convinced Smith's going to come in there headhunting. You know what I mean? Like, Kazama is crafty, especially on the mat. But I think his gas tank is a real problem, and over 3 rounds, that's going to hurt him. So I think Smith should pull away late with a decision win. So I'll take Elijah Smith by unanimous decision. But honestly, man, Kazama at plus 500, that is crazy to me. Yeah. Like, I think that is a play, to be honest. Like, I think that is a great value play. Because Kazama could just come out in the first round and just straight up starch Elijah Smith. Like, I would not be surprised. I'm not picking it to happen, but... I think Kazama is a really good value bet, but the pick remains Elijah Smith by unanimous decision.
Yeah, one person that Elijah Smith reminds me of, not because they have the same last name, Jacoby Smith as well. They both have very solid wrestling bases, and I think, honestly, if you ask me what would be the best base to become an MMA fighter, I think wrestling is it. There's just so much that you could branch off of with that. However, Kazama, we've seen a decent amount of him since 2023. He got flatlined by Rinya Nakamura in the road to the UFC finals in 2023, I believe. And since then, he's only gone 1-3 in the UFC. I believe his last fight was the one he won. He got a crazy triangle choke on Charalampos Gregorio. Gregorio.
Shout out to Ray Longo and his camp over there. They were cornering him for that one.
Yes, definitely. Ray Longo. We love you. I love you. But I mean, like you said, Srikar, Kazama's not someone to sleep on, even though his record and how he's lost in the UFC kind of suggests that. But Elijah Smith is so raw. It's only a matter of time before he just starts putting it together. He can really do it all. Obviously, his striking isn't super up to par, as you can see right here. I mean, he's landing just under 4 a minute, but he's absorbing just under 4 a minute. His defense is all right, under 50. His grappling, though, that's where you want to look. Look, he's averaging 4 takedowns.
Yeah.
I know the numbers are skewed just because he's only had one fight in the UFC. He beat Vince Morales. But still, I mean, as you can see, this guy is a wrestler. I don't think it's going to go that long, though, Srikar. I don't think it's going to go to decision. I actually have it going under 1.5.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I what kind of makes me scared to say that, though, is I thought the same thing about Jacoby Smith against Nico Price. Granted, Nico Price is much more of a grizzled vet than Toshiomi Kazama. However, I think Kazama's smart enough to not get into that type of fight, especially since what's been happening to him. But I think that Elijah Smith's going to come out swinging, pressure early, land heavy shots, get him to the ground, whether it's from a knockdown or a takedown. And I mean, I honestly, if he doesn't finish it off the first takedown, we're going to see multiple takedowns from Elijah Smith in this fight. But his ground and pound is nasty. I think he will get it done, and I think he's going to get it done early. So I'm going to go with Elijah Smith by, I'll just say finish, double chance. But it's going to be early. I think it's definitely going to be under. And what is the under? I believe it's favored too. I think it's like minus 200 if I'm not mistaken.
Wow,
So,
minus 200. Honestly,
I'm going to check that right now.
I would play the exact opposite.
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
playing the over. Well, only because if it goes under 1.5, I think that's the best route for Kazama to win.
Right.
Would actually feed into the value even more of Toshiomi Kazama in this fight.
100%.
But let's see here.
Yeah, under 1.5, not minus 200. I highballed it. It's minus 140 though. So
okay.
slight advantage for under bettors if you would like to take that. But
Smith to win by decision is plus 400, by the way.
Ooh, okay. I would definitely sprinkle on that. So
and Kazama to win by knockout is plus 2,000, but for him to win by submission is plus 1,200. Which honestly, either of those props,
I mean,
very solid.
Elijah Smith to win by knockouts minus 250. That's pretty hefty.
Well, as you can see, like there's props on here, even though it's a chalky card, you just got to kind of look further.
Exactly. You got to listen to us in the war room. We do all the film studies, so you don't have to.
We'll have you primed for the binkies when they come.
Oh,
but
our binkies.
Our featured prelim, Julius Walker versus Rafael Chikara.
Oh God,
Chris, you wanna kick this one off?
Sure. I mean, people might have their thoughts about Julius Walker, me included. I mean, his last fight, he lost to Alonzo Menifield by split decision. We've seen Alonzo Menifield take out two, I guess, promising contenders. He did it to Omar Sy in Georgia earlier. That was actually our first prediction video. Omar Sy was minus 700, and Menifield, showed him how the big dogs do it in the UFC. However, Julius Walker was on the same side as Omar Sy, losing by split decision to Menifield. Julius Walker has also had a lot of fights canceled recently, which, isn't typically a good sign. But Rafael Chikara, 11-2 in the UFC. He's 0-2 since joining 2 years ago. He's dropped back-to-back to Ibo Aslan, who we have our thoughts about Ibo Aslan after Abu Dhabi. And then Modestas Bukauskas, who, solid loss. Modestas is, I regard him as a solid fighter. But it's interesting because it'll kind of just be two prospects fighting each other. Obviously, Chikara has a little bit more experience, but two very raw prospects fighting each other. Julius Walker did hang with Menifield, but he did gas out. He looked very, he looked like he hasn't been there before, which he hasn't. So when he lost to him, even though I'm pretty sure he was a substantially large favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, I rolled with the punches. I did bet on Julius Walker. So I rolled with the punches financially and, mentally saying, all right, well, he hasn't been here before. He needs to kind of walk through the fire to understand how it goes, especially in this light heavyweight division. But he has great punching power. He has, for the heavyweight level, I mean, obviously, look, they look for punches. No one really does submissions unless your name's Walter Walker. But
yeah,
at the same time, he needs to use more of his fluid movement, use his jab, maintain distance, look for the big shot, which I don't think he did a good job of against Alonzo Menifield. And Alonzo Menifield, he's able to see right through that. In terms of Cerqueira, he's aggressive and willing to trade. So if Julius Walker wants to just walk through the fire and just get into an absolute slugfest, Cerqueira is the guy to do it. However, I think that, I mean, if you look at the physical attributes here, everything is pretty much the exact same. These guys are almost mirror images of himself, minus a 2-inch reach advantage for Julius Walker. I think that the concern with Cerqueira is he's too wild. He's too willing to trade, especially in a bigger division where guys have legitimate knockout power. I think that Alonzo Menifield was a great first loss for Julius Walker. That's why I think he's going to settle in. He's going to survive the early storm that Cerqueira is going to throw at him. I'm taking Julius Walker by KO TKO.
Yeah, I'm with you. Walker has that. He's very tall. He's rangy. We talked about that UFC debut to Alonzo Menifield, short notice. He showed a lot of promise in that fight. Cardio, definitely a concern, but I don't think it's going to play as big of a factor in this one. Cerqueira, I mean, he looked dangerous on the regional scene, but he got knocked out in both his UFC fights. So yeah, I agree with you, man. I think Walker gets his footing in the UFC with this one. I think he backs up Rafael Cerqueira and he just finishes it. So I'm going to go Julius Walker by, I'll say second round TKO. I think it'll take a round for him to fully settle into the fight, but he'll catch the chin at some point. But that'll do it for the prelims. Moving straight on to the main card. We start with Christian Leroy Duncan versus Eric Anders. This is one of those classic, style matchups. CLD is the slicker guy, way prettier striking, much more technical. But Anders is a grinder. Like, he's not flashy, but he's tough, and he knows exactly how to make you fight his fight. Duncan can't just clown Anders the way he's done with some of his earlier UFC wins. This isn't a layup. That said, skill for skill, I still lean CLD. But man, dude, Anders is sitting at plus 400. Like, that is crazy to me.
Guy has legitimate knockout power.
The odds are way too wide. I'm going to go Christian Leroy Duncan by split decision. I think this is going to be a very, very close fight. Like, nearly a coin flip. And honestly, I would take the value on Anders. I think you're getting great value on Eric Anders at plus 400. But CLD is the pick.
I definitely agree, Srikar. I actually just had CLD by decision because I can see this going to split. So if you're a person that likes to bet, unanimous or split decision, a split decision either way could be a very good value bet. I'll actually check what it's sitting at right now. But yeah, Anders has been around the block. He took out my guy Weidman. That was hard to watch. I love Chris Weidman. But yeah, I mean, he's been around the block. He has 25 pro fights compared to Duncan's 13. So obviously right there, just off pure statistics, he has I would say he has an IQ advantage. Not all the time you can say that, because there are some fighters that, just like to bum rush in there. But I think he does have the experience to warrant me saying that he has an advantage in IQ. I'm looking right now for the specific props for this to go to split decision, because that's something that I'm actually really interested in.
It's plus 550 for CLD and plus 1800 for Anders.
Yeah, wow. So if you're a person that likes to bet specificity, that's pretty good odds in my opinion. But yeah, Srikar, like you said, I think Anders is not someone to take lightly, and CLD can't play around like he's been doing. He's a very good striker, though. Don't get me wrong. He's big. He's lanky. He's a good kickboxer. I think Anders' path to victory in this, though, would apply pressure. You need to force him to make mistakes. That's where it comes in, because CLD really hasn't fought anyone that makes him question, all right, can I throw this punch? Like, will something harder come back at me? And surprise takedowns too. We haven't really seen CLD struggle too much with.
The one time we saw him in one of those matchups, it was RoboCop.
That is true. So
and RoboCop exploited it perfectly.
Exactly. And I mean, look, he's not a guy to take anyone down. Anders, even though he has a 24% takedown accuracy, per 15 minutes, he lands almost 2 takedowns. So I think he's going to be shooting, and he has exceptional takedown defense. So we're not going to see CLD coming back with those. However, I just think that it's just so tough, in my opinion. Like, Anders does have the knockout power, but he's at 37, and I'm not sure how much I can trust someone who's rising in age. I'm not sure how I can trust their cardio. But I mean, it's never really been a problem for him, in my opinion. He's gone to decision plenty of times, but I think CLD, he will win this by decision, and this will be a good vet to, you know, put under his belt, a good notch in, or a good feather in his cap. So it'll be an interesting fight, though. Anders definitely has value. Do not get me wrong. So that could be a very good value play for those looking to make some money.
So you're going CLD?
Yes, I'm going CLD by decision. I can see it being split, though, so I'm not going to say unanimous or split.
Okay, I'm trying to think back. Have we disagreed on a single pick? It's happening again, man.
It's a chalky card. It's a chalky card. So, I mean...
Yeah, we have not disagreed on it.
Don't worry, bro. We're going to disagree on a few coming up.
Smith, Walker, and CLD. Wow, yeah. We have not disagreed on a single pick. Sorry about that, folks. But
yeah,
if Chris is saying parity's coming up, well, boy, oh boy. Who am I not to believe
not coming, bro? I'm telling you. I'm convinced that Srikar and I share the same brain. He's just the West Coast version of me, and I'm the East Coast version of him.
We'll see about that. Next fight up the card. Miles Johns versus John Matsumoto.
Ooh.
I'll let you start here.
Sure. Great fight, by the way. I'm very excited to see this. John Matsumoto, very high on him. He's 25. He's very young. He's coming off a short notice loss to Rob Font, one of the, I wouldn't say gatekeeper. He's just a mainstay in the UFC bantamweight division, and a great, you know, veteran to keep doing it. One of my favorites. He always puts on bangers. So for Matsumoto, I think that it's a great loss. He should have won, though, in my opinion, but there's levels to this type of fight. He will learn from it, though. I mean, he's 2-1 in the UFC. That one loss being to Rob Font, like I just mentioned. But he's beaten 2 Ultimate Fighter alumni, Brad Katona and Dan Argueta, which are also 2 good wins, which I believe both of them are actually out of the UFC right now. Dan Argueta might still be in, but I think Brad Katona got cut. So if we're measuring it up in terms of how they aged, I still think they're good wins, regardless of where those fighters are right now. But Miles Johns, he's 31. He just lost to Felipe Lima, who also a good fighter, but he was on a 4-fight win streak. He's 6-3 in the UFC since 2019, and I believe there was one no contest. Forgot who that was, but he does have one no contest. Or actually, does he? The UFC thing is messy.
He has one because I think he tested positive for Turinabol.
Yes. We've had our conversations about that. Cough, cough. If you want to watch a video, go watch.
Hashtag what is a picogram?
Yeah, hashtag what is a picogram? Hashtag the world may never know. Yeah, so I mean, Miles Johns, good boxer, but he is a wrestler. Excels in takedowns, so we'll show you guys the grappling stats right now. Even though the numbers don't show it, he's still a very solid wrestler. Look at the takedown defense, man. Absolutely amazing. And then on the back end of that, you could see Matsumoto. He likes to get the fight to the ground. He might have some tough time doing it against Miles John, though. So it'll be very interesting to see. I think that Matsumoto is definitely a volume striker. As you can see right here, he lands 5.18 per minute, absorbs just under 5.5, which is also not good. And Miles Johns kind of fights the complete opposite. He doesn't really want to get into a brawl. It's a much more calculated approach. However, I think that the X factor in this will be Matsumoto's ability to just absolutely bring it and just have momentum. He's very dangerous everywhere it goes. He can chain striking into grappling into striking. I think he just ran into a very solid veteran. Not even very solid, a great veteran in Rob Font. And he's going to learn from that. I mean, you have to go through those fights. He was an undefeated prospect. You kind of have to, I wouldn't say you have to lose to learn, because that's not true at all. But in certain cases, for someone as young as him, he's just used to winning. He never really dealt with adversity like that. I think that was a great stepping stone in his career. So I'm going to go John Matsumoto by decision. I don't think that Miles Johns is going to make it easy. He's going to fight through the fire that Matsumoto is going to throw at him. But I really want to see the grappling exchanges in this. I really think that's what I'm really looking forward to. I know a lot of people don't like grappling. However, I'm a big fan of it. There will be a lot of chain wrestling here, in my opinion. So John Matsumoto by decision is the pick.
Yeah, I think that Rob Font fight actually proved to me that John Matsumoto was the real deal. Like, I think this guy is completely for real. He's going places. Miles Johns, definitely a strong, explosive grappler, no doubt. But every time he's tried to break into that top mix, he's gotten turned back. And I think Matsumoto's got the tools to deal with Johns' physical style. Like, you just dig those underhooks, right? And then go to work on the feet. And the longer this fight goes, I think the more it tilts toward Matsumoto. So I agree. I'm going to go John Matsumoto by unanimous decision. I think this is one where the odds are actually pretty good, like in terms of how accurate they are.
You can see the average fight time right here. They both typically go to decision.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Matsumoto by decision. I think Miles Johns, I just feel like Matsumoto has what it takes to kind of deal with that. So that's my pick there. We both go John Matsumoto by unanimous decision. Moving up the card, Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez.
Fili. I love that name.
This one is close. This one is very tight on paper. I know I said I'd stop using on paper, but when we're breaking down a fight, it's fine. And look, here's the thing. I get why people are calling it close, but Christian Rodriguez is kind of predictable. He's got a pattern. If he's fighting an undefeated up-and-comer, he pulls off the upset. But if he's up against, a tested vet who's been around the block, that's usually where things fall apart for him. He's got the experience. He's got the toolbox. But there's nothing elite about his game to really separate him. And Andre Fili, he's still got a lot left in the tank. So I think this should be his kind of fight. Andre Fili is sitting as an underdog. I think you should slam home an Andre Fili money line. Like, I'm taking Andre Fili by unanimous decision. Like, I think
this was supposed to be the parody. No.
We're gonna agree on every pick.
Bro, are you kidding me?
This entire card, we're gonna agree on every single pick.
Are you kidding me, bro?
But yeah, I'm actually taking Andre Fili. I'm actually taking Fili.
God. Oh my God, bro. I'm like freaking out in my head right now. I thought this was gonna be the one that I was like, all right, this is guaranteed parody. There's no way he backs Andre Fili. Oh my God, Srikar, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me. Andre Touchy Fili, man, he's so good. He's even though he's old, he still has it. I know he does. And look, he's taller. He has a little bit of edge and reach. Look at the leg reach. He loves his leg kicks. He is a leg kick demon. He chops at him like a tree trunk. And like you said, bro, oh my God, this is like the perfect fight for him, because when Christian Rodriguez is like favored and, supposed to win, he never
doesn't win. He just doesn't win.
Oh, you know what? Oh, I honestly think this could be fight of the night, though. I think this could be fireworks. I think Fili wants to brawl. He still has it, bro. He really does. Oh my God, I want to go C-Rod just because you said Fili, but I can't do that because I need to stick with my intuition and what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's just like, look, C-Rod, he brings youthful aggression, a high volume style, and he is a more accurate striker. Like, actually, barely a more, not barely, actually 37 to 50 is a lot. But in terms of landed per minute and absorbed per minute, look, Fili's used to getting into battles. We can look at the grappling right now. Both of them land takedowns, so this will be interesting. They literally are pretty much the exact same grappler, minus the submissions. Obviously, C-Rod right here, averaging just over a submission per 15. But I think that Fili's just going to be too good to take down. This is going to be one on the feet, and I feel like that's where C-Rod loses. I feel like Fili wants to brawl, and he's so willing to just throw down. He's always been willing to throw down. I'm going to say it right now. Fili's path to victory, and this is what he's going to do. Hopefully, you guys can mark my words. Actually, you can mark my words. He's going to eat up that lead leg. He is going to compromise the movement of C-Rod, and he's going to tee off. And we're going to see Andre Touchy Fili getting his hand raised.
That nickname is crazy.
I know, but
Fili is crazy.
It is, bro, because he's going to touch up that lead leg, and he's going to feel your face with his hands. He's a new father. Congrats to Andre Fili.
Dad boost.
Yes, dad boost. He just posted a crazy picture of him on Instagram. He was holding his baby and a gun like this. Crazy picture.
That is wild.
Yeah, I know. But dad boost, he's feeling it. It's in the name, bro. He's going to do it. Srikar, I can't believe you just ruined my parody. I swear, if we pick...
our parody. We're looking out for the team.
I'm telling you, I said it before. We are just the opposites of each other in terms of coast. He's the West Coast version of me, and I'm the East Coast version of him. Our brains are similar. And you know what they say, great minds think alike.
So basically, we're telling you to hammer Fili.
Oh, hammer.
His decision prop is plus 300, and his money line is plus 200. So take that value as you will. But we both have Fili by decision.
My next pick, though, is a bona fide lock. I'll give you that. Bona fide.
All right, both of us going with Mr. Touche Filet. But moving up the card, Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. I'll let you start, man. You kind of preluded yourself into it.
Ooh, I have a bone to pick here. Srikar, this is who I was talking about. I was telling Srikar.
Oh, so it was someone I named. Okay.
Yeah, it was someone you named. Yasmin Lucindo. I was high on you. I thought you were a great fighter, and you know what? You still very well could be. A little bit of growing pains. I don't know why you had to do that to me, though, when I was on Beat the Bookie for Citrus TV. Shout out Citrus TV if you guys want to watch a hilarious compilation of Srikar and I getting picks wrong.
I was the only one that got a pick right that day.
Yup. We got an $100. It was fake. It was completely fake. We got an $100 allowance. I think we came out with $15 at the end of it.
Better than nothing.
But I have a bone to pick with you, Lucindo. I thought your grappling was good. I thought you were going to take Amanda Lemos and absolutely ragdoll her. But what happened was she did that to you. How did you let her do that? You were 13 years younger than her, and she made you look like you were a 50-year-old woman who couldn't do anything. She just completely dominated you. However, you do have well-rounded skill set. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take that away from you. But Angela Hill has been through the fire and back. She's a vet. And you know what? Clearly, vets might be your one kryptonite in the UFC. I think Angela Hill has exactly what it takes to take you out. Not by finish, but by unanimous decision. So, book it. Lock of the night. This is my lock. This is a lock. I'm telling you. Angela Hill uses her experience and resilience to beat Yasmin Lucindo. Oh, give it to me. That's a lock. I'm telling you. I'm like, oh, I can't fall for the trap again. Oh my God. Srikar, did you pick Yasmin or did you pick Angela Hill too?
You are not gonna believe this.
Oh my! Wait, I'm not gonna believe it.
All right, man. All right, let me actually do my breakdown. Lucindo, she's got a ton of upside. There's no question about that. But after what we saw in that fight with Amanda Lemos, I think it's clear she's not quite there yet. Sure, she beat Marina Rodriguez, but that was a 37-year-old Marina who was clearly on her way out.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Angela Hill is the definition of a gatekeeper. She doesn't always get the win, but she makes everybody work for it.
Yep.
This is a big test for Lucinda. And while she might be close, I don't think she's quite ready to pass it. I think this is going to be a gritty one. I don't think it's a lock. I'm going to pick Angela Hill. And I'm going to pick Angela Hill by split decision. I think this is going to be a close fight.
Why?
I don't think this is a lock, but we have agreed on 2 straight underdogs.
Dude, what is going on? Bro, I mean, look, I don't know if there's going to be much parity in these last 2 picks.
Wow. Sam was really the source of all of our parity. As soon as he's not on an episode, we just agree on everything. This is crazy.
I literally think Srikar and I are literally just the same person at this point.
We might just be the same dude.
Well, minus a physical appearance, but
yeah,
we might be.
Well, that went without saying. And to those listening on Spotify, you probably don't get what you're talking about, but I'm Indian and he's white, so there you go.
Yes. There's parity in that.
But I mean, I guess this is just how the cookies crumble. 2 straight underdog picks from us, but Chris made more of a distinction. Angela Hill is his lock of the night.
She's a lock, I'm telling you. Lock.
I wouldn't say it's a lock, but I'm picking Angela to win. Definitely picking Angela.
Waiting to happen.
For sure. Co-main event time. Steve Erceg versus Ode Osbourne. Look, Steve Erceg has been desperately needing a gimme fight, and he finally got one. Ode Osbourne is stepping in on short notice, and this really feels like the most winnable matchup Erceg could have hoped for in the division. Osbourne, he's got that explosive power and finishing ability, no doubt, but the cardio fades hard. And he's had real issues dealing with these, slick counter strikers who just don't play his game. So I think Erceg is too smart and just too sharp of a fighter to get caught up in any of Ode's chaos, especially on the mat. This should be clean work, man. I think this is my lock of the night. I'm going to go Steve Erceg by knockout. I think he finishes Ode Osbourne. Pretty easy pick for me to make, and the odds reflect that he's minus 575. This is my lock of the night. I think Erceg gets it done, and I think he gets it done by finish.
I agree with you, Srikar. I think that, Erceg's been through the absolute ringer his last 3 fights. He challenged Pantoja valiantly for the flyweight belt. Was honestly, in my opinion, pretty close, barring getting taken down in the back half of the 5th round, which obviously secured Pantoja that. I believe some of the judges had it 4-1, regardless. Lost to Brandon Moreno, and then Kai Kara France. Got knocked out. He got knocked out by Kai Kara France. Did he get knocked out by Brandon Moreno? I'm forgetting.
No, decision.
No, it was decision, right? He fought 3 of the best in the division, the cream of the crop. And he's in need of an alley-oop, Srikar, just like you said. He needs this fight. This is a great bounce-back fight for him. I haven't really seen that much from Ode Osbourne. He's been a mainstay in the flyweight division, though. He's been around. He's fought pretty much. He's just fought very good veterans, in my opinion. However, I've never really seen too much from him to make me say, wow, I think that he can really be a champion or a top contender one day. I think he's a fun fighter. He's an exciting fighter, and that's why he's kept around, and props to him for, bringing that type of energy and tactics to his fights. But Steve Erceg needs an alley-oop. This was an alley-oop. He's going to slam dunk it home, just like Srikar said. Steve Erceg by KO, TKO. And it could be early. I think he wants to make a statement with this.
100%. I think this is going to be shades of the Max Schnell fight, to be honest. I just think he's going to flat out starch Ode Osbourne. But main event time. Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. All right, so we've got Roman Dolidze back in a headliner at the Apex. And this one feels like it could have real implications for the middleweight title picture. Like, the winner here might be looking at a shot against, one of the former champs of the division. And honestly, it's not far-fetched at all. Let's start with Dolidze. He's a weird one to figure out, man. Nothing he does looks especially clean or technical. Like his striking can look a little clunky, but I mean, don't let that fool you. He's got power everywhere. Like the legs, hands, his elbows. Like he'll find your chin from these weird angles and at unexpected moments. And on top of that, his grappling is low-key good. Like he's not a guy who chains takedowns together. Instead, he drags you into the clinch, and if it hits the mat, he's got real submission skills. Now, across the cage, you've got Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, and he's kind of a unicorn at 185. Not the most physically intimidating guy. Always looks like he just, got out of a steam room or something. But man, this dude pushes a pace. He's like, he is literally like the middleweight Merab. Like he drowns guys in volume, constantly forces scrambles. Once he gets on top, he's either going for the ground and pound or he's snatching your neck. He did the former against Michel Pereira, and he did the latter against Roman Kopylov. On paper, I can see why Hernandez is the betting favorite. Like he hasn't lost since 2020, and his style just works, especially against guys who start to fade, which, to be fair, has been an issue for Dolidze in the past. Hernandez is relentless, and he thrives in that chaos.
Definitely.
But here's the thing. This is a lot closer than the odds suggest. Dolidze may not be the guy with all the momentum, but stylistically, I think he's very live here. He does really well when he's the stronger, more physical guy. And in the early rounds, that'll probably be the case. He's not some fish out of water on the ground either. Like, and in fact, his bottom game is really underrated for a bigger guy. Like, he's got sweeps, submissions, like the whole bag he's got. And both guys do their best work in the clinch, which makes this even more fascinating. That's where Dolidze has notched some of his biggest wins. So if it turns into a cage battle, this could go either way. Bottom line, Hernandez has the cardio, he has the grind, but Dolidze's got the power, and he tends to thrive when people doubt him like this.
Yep.
Screw it, man. I'm going Dolidze by TKO in the second round.
Ooh.
I would not be shocked if he shuts the lights out on Fluffy early on. There it is. This is my dog of the night. I'm going with Roman Dolidze by TKO round 2.
There's absolutely no way. Nah. All right. This is the parody.
There you go.
It finally has happened.
Yeah, I knew it would come.
I think it's a great pick, though, Srikar, in my honest opinion. I really do think that Dolidze has all the tools to really stifle Anthony Hernandez. And like you said, it'll be early on because Hernandez, other than actually, no, I mean, his 2 losses, he's really just gotten starched early. 1 to Kevin Holland, and then 2 to Marcus Perez, who no one knows who Marcus Perez is if you just started watching the UFC. So it happened in round 2 and round 1. A 5-round fight, I just feel like Anthony Hernandez, I hate betting against the hot hand, or I would say picking against the hot hand in this case. He's looked very good, in my opinion. He's been taking out everyone. He's a very big threat on the ground, but that could play right into Dolidze because Dolidze is also a big threat on the ground, in my opinion, as well. He's not a slouch. Right here, you can look at the grappling numbers. I mean, obviously, Fluffy has the advantage over here, but it's really because Dolidze doesn't really need to use that to win his fights. We'll look at win by. As you can see, Dolidze has 15 wins. 53% have come by knockout, 20 by sub, 27 by decision. His average fight time is long, though. He's used to getting into dog fights and really, kind of being in those deep waters, which is really where I think Anthony Hernandez wants to bring it. However, just what I've seen recently from Fluffy, and don't get me wrong, like I said, Dolidze, great value bet. Srikar picked him up outright to, as his main event winner, which I really I'm not like mad at or I would say, confused by, because it really is a good pick. I just think that the way that Hernandez is trending and what he's accomplished so far in the UFC and how he's accomplished it, I think it's only a matter of time before he gets to the top. And I think this is just another stepping stone for him. It'll be a tough fight, don't get me wrong. He'll really have to pull out all his tricks, all out of his sleeve, and all the tools out of his toolbox to do it. But I just think that wherever the fight goes, Hernandez will be comfortable. He's going to have to avoid big power shots from Dolidze, and Dolidze is also unorthodox. Like Srikar said, it's kind of, he's a weird fighter to go against. So if you're not prepared for it, he could stifle you. However, it's just the hot hand for me. And like I said, what he's been doing recently, I don't want to pick against him. So I'm going to say Anthony Hernandez by finish. I don't think this is going to go to decision. Not a 25-minute fight. I just think someone will get finished. So if you don't want to pick a fighter in this, you don't want to pick a dog in the fight, you can pick how long the fight will last. And right now they have the fight set at, let's see. Sorry. Do you have any thoughts, Srikar, while I look for this?
Yeah, I was just going to say my pick is kind of contingent on when or how long the fight goes, because if Dolidze doesn't get that early finish, he's going to gas. And that's kind of my big worry, but I don't know, man. I like Roman Dolidze. There's something about Roman Dolidze that I can't explain that I actually really like.
I agree. I very much agree.
Like, a lot of people just call him a boring fighter, but there's some like technical aspect of what he does that I've kind of grown to really appreciate.
I agree.
And I feel like, I don't know, like I get why people are picking Fluffy, but I just have a feeling with Dolidze, honestly. It's more of like a gut feeling sort of thing. I've picked against Fluffy in the past. What was his last fight? It was against
Brendan Allen.
Oh, I definitely did not pick against him there.
Before that, it was Michel Pereira.
I picked Michel Pereira in that fight. I remember.
And
Pereira got melted by Fluffy. So
yeah.
There you go, man. I mean, those are our picks across 12 fights. We only differ once, which is something we're not entirely new to, but we hope to change going into the future. So if you stick with us, we really appreciate it. So
Srikar and I's rankings are coming down to one fight.
It's coming down to the main event, which honestly is pretty hype, because now this gives me like, you know, I can kind of just coast through the card and just worry about the
emotional incentive in it. That's what I like about this, because I mean, obviously financial incentives, fun and everything, and that's a sweat. But I feel like being emotionally invested in something is almost better. Like, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. You always want to be emotionally invested in a card, and whether it's emotionally or financially invested, I'm always invested. So
100%.
Every card for us. But
hopefully, as this potentially might be the last UFC Apex card, everyone doubted the last one. We told you it was going to be a banger. To be completely honest, I'm not really too sure how this one will go. There's a lot of big favorites, but big favorites don't mean boring fights. Just put it that way.
For sure. I completely agree with that. It should, I mean, to me, it's kind of like the average Apex card, but obviously there could be some sort of sentimentality behind it. I hope it's a good card. And we hope you guys out there enjoy it too. For Chris Shroyer, I'm Srikar Rajendran signing off from the War Room. We'll probably be back with a midweek. We'll definitely be back with a recap for this event. Hopefully we can get that up on Sunday. But
I have a feeling there's going to be some big news this weekend or early next week, in my opinion. So
could be. But UFC 319 is on the horizon. We're going to have a lot of content pumping out for that. Very excited. Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev should be a very, very fantastic and exciting fight. Definitely a 50-50 one, in my opinion. But we'll get into that next week. For now, both of us signing off. We're saying so long from the War Room, and we'll see you next time.